When you see two guys holding hands, what do you think is going on? Your answer will not surprise me. Look, there are lots of reasons to not hold hands. Maybe you have a cold, maybe your palms are sweaty, maybe your fingers are coated in a slimy layer of Cheeto dust that you tried licking off but then turned into an orange paste that's stuck under your nails. Been there. But there are a few totally bogus reasons that have straight cis dudes freaked out everywhere at the idea of physical contact with another man. So we won't call it mansplaining, but I have found the perfect straight cis dude to help explain. Hey there, Kenny. Touched any dudes lately?
So many, Francesca. Somehow, I'm still straight. Look, showing affection, friendship, and familiarity through touch is perfectly normal. And it's actually instinctive. One of our first impulses as dumb little babies is to hold stuff. It's so instinctive there's actually a name for it. It's the Palmar grasp reflex. It's a reaction in human babies and many other mammals prompting them to grab an object, like a finger, in response to its touch. That's right. Even in a state where our skulls are mushy and we're liable to crap ourselves, we still understand that touch is natural. And it isn't always romantic, but at some point, middle school, non-sexual touch between men gets stigmatized. And a lot of it comes down to the absurd social norms we impose on young men called toxic masculinity. And no, toxic masculinity is not a new energy drink.
But before we go any further, let's just point out that toxic masculinity doesn't mean that men are inherently bad or toxic. It's the idea that the cultural expectations and restrictions on what constitutes masculinity, or a real man, can be extremely damaging.
Toxic masculinity, because holding back your emotions requires energy. And while not every man buys into these cultural expectations, almost every man in this country has been affected by them. Or when was the last time you just went up to your boy and you were like, yo, let's hold hands, motherfucker? And he was like, hell yeah, my dude. What's funny is that our reluctance to hold hands is because it's gay or feminine. And that assumes that there's something wrong with men being gay or feminine. There's not.
The idea that straight men holding hands is inherently gay reached a fever pitch not so long ago during the height of a boy band you might have heard of called One Direction. Two of the band's members, Louis Tomlinson and Harry Styles, were known for their close friendship. They were frequently photographed hugging, holding hands, and even kissing. Fans obsessed over their connection to the point where a rumor started that the two might be in a romantic relationship. The thing is, despite the massive amount of shipping fan fiction that I'm sure was probably written, they were not romantically connected. They both said so many times. The thing is, fans wouldn't let up. They even created a name for this supposedly gay couple. Larry. Really, that's it? That is so basic. The band has since broken up, but in 2017, Louis Tomlinson confirmed that his friendship with Styles was changed by fans' insistence that their friendly affection made them gay. He told 17 magazine, "It created this atmosphere between the two of us where everyone was looking into everything we did. It made everything a little bit more unapproachable." And I don't believe I'm gonna say this, but how dare you do that to One Direction? Directioners don't come for me.
What might seem like an insensitive homophobic joke, that's so gay, or you guys are so gay for each other, is actually an insidious way of policing masculinity. A study with over 19,000 participants at the University of Indiana showed that men who adhere to hypermasculine norms, such as the objectification of women, self-reliance, and repressing emotional expression, typically suffer from mental health issues, and these include depression and increased suicidal thoughts. And that study doesn't even mention the poor guys that are bullied for not being hypermasculine. So let's be clear, whether you adhere or not, toxic masculinity helps no one and makes us all sad and want to kill ourselves. Call me a radical, but maybe we should get rid of it? And this fear of holding hands is also pretty exclusively a Western phenomenon.
Samir Khalaf, a sociology professor in Lebanon, told the New York Times back in 2005 that holding hands is the warmest expression of affection between men in Arab culture. It's a sign of solidarity and kinship. The same can be said for men in Latin American countries that often greet each other with a hug or a kiss on the cheek. Or in India, where men are often seen walking down the street holding hands. Or even in Uganda, where men demonstrating platonic physical affection is normal, despite being a country with some of the harshest anti-LGBT laws in the African continent. America, land of the free, except not really free for a man to hold another man's hand.
It's just this, guys. That's all it is. We're not really asking you to touch wieners here, unless you want to, which of course is cool. Besides, holding hands feels good. It actually prompts your body to generate oxytocin, a neurotransmitter associated with feelings of trust and generosity, aka things that make you happy. So if we know touch is good and strict masculine social norms are bad, what should us guys do to change it? Well, here's some stuff. Start paying attention to when people are forcing their own ideas of gender onto you. Reject that. Watch out for things like gendered colors, gendered toys, gendered sports, gendered careers, because all these things do is create very narrow spaces for people to explore and be themselves.
In other words, pink is just a color. If you think it looks good on you, go for it. And this kind of thinking is extra important if you're a parent. But if all of this sounds like a lot of work, there is one little thing you could do, the smallest of gestures.
Find another guy and hold his hand. It'll probably be weird at first, okay? But I promise, if you're attracted to women, holding another dude's hand is not going to change that. And after you get over breaking a social taboo, it'll actually feel nice. It might even make you healthier. And if that's too much, I get it. You might want to build up to it, all right? Maybe start out with one of those bro dude arm around the shoulder things, you know? Maybe try giving your bro a hug without having to slap the feminine energy out of him so hard that you leave marks on his back. Maybe even just give a fist pound if you're a starter and just hold it there for a minute. Let your knuckles really absorb each other's oxytocin. Whatever you gotta do, all right? Back to you, Francesca.
Thanks, Kenny. Now that we've squashed some homophobic ideas about intimacy and shown just how much toxic masculinity can deprive us of literally life-saving interactions, the rest is up to you. Finding little ways to affirm and support each other doesn't make a guy any less manly, but it could make you and the people you love a lot happier. Thanks for watching, and thanks again to Kenny DeForest, and we'll see you next time right here on Decoded.